Welcome back. Welcome back for a special new video game pickups list. This is going to be a Nintendo Gamecube edition of pickups. So with that said, of course I recently talked about game compilations and stuff and showed this, the first of the pickups. And that is the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, which of course has 10 games in total. It's definitely a classic from Capcom from the 6th generation. Yeah, back before when G4 was around. Plus, I actually really like the art gallery and stuff that this would actually include. This is a great item I highly recommend to any Mega Man fan. It's definitely great, and you can still get this relatively affordable. It's one of the cheaper games you can get for the GameCube. Next up, something I got dirt cheap, and that is Harry Potter and the Gauntlet of Fire video game. Of course, the Harry Potter games, for the most part, aren't necessarily known for being great games, but when I saw a GameCube game cheap, I decided to pick it up. I got this for $4, so got it for a pretty dang good deal. And given it's also complete in solid condition, now weirdly enough it says here like 1 to 3 players, which is kind of bizarre. Not necessarily a great game, though I haven't actually played any of the Harry Potter games ever. Eventually I will get around once I get a few more of the tie-in movie games. I'm going to try to get any of the Harry Potter games that were released on GameCube, because from what I've seen, most of these games are actually pretty cheap. And this is one of the better, I think, movies, at least in the action department. It'd probably make more sense to be game adaptation. Next we have a game that I highly recommend to anyone, and that is Primal Fear, one of the only really solid fine games on the GameCube, unfortunately. GameCube did not exactly get many good fighting games, unfortunately. There was a few like Mortal Kombat, Deadly Alliance, Deception, Soul Calibur 2, and Bloody Roar Primal Fury. Now, you can still get this at a reasonable price range online. It's not super expensive, luckily. Strangely enough, Mortal Kombat Deception, though, on the GameCube is actually very expensive, and I have no clue why. But it is a great game, and I highly recommend to anyone. It's just a really fun game, great soundtrack, and yeah, this game also was done by involved Activision, but surprisingly they pretty much kept hands off on the game, thank goodness. Next we have a very unique and I think criminally underrated horror game. It is called Geist. You can get this for still reasonable price range. It's not gone through the roof or anything like many other horror games out there. It's one of the most unique horror games I have actually seen, period. And it's up to a 1 to 4 player game. It has like a multiplayer mode, and that is rather interesting and odd for a horror game to do something like that, a multiplayer mode. Surprisingly, it is definitely very unique, the mechanics of the game, given you can possess other people. It's very interesting. And sometime in the future, sometime I might do a review on this game, because I feel this game deserves more love than it gets. Next, we have this special thing, which only got released on the GameCube, strangely enough. Technically, you got 2 games. You got the original version of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, but bonus, you got Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Master Quest, which was a higher difficulty version, which was known for being a pretty decent amount harder. Strangely enough, this version of the game has never seen a re-release on any future Nintendo console. It's very odd, in my opinion, that they only did it for GameCube. Which is why there are a lot of people that look for this game. It is starting to go up in price, which is no surprise because of this being so far the only port. But with the anniversary, it would be nice to see this game actually get a port to the Switch. So that way, people who never got to experience this version of the game can actually experience it. Next, we have another Zelda game. This is The Legend of Zelda Four Swords Adventures. And like it indicates, it can be up to a 4-player co-op done Zelda game. And yeah, it includes where you can actually use Game Boy Advance and plug them up through a special attachment and use them in the place of a controller, which is very unique. And that definitely gives this game a very different feel compared to other, well, Zelda games in the franchise. This game is very unique and different. For one, having the co-op mode thing is definitely one of the things that makes this game very unique and different to any other Zelda game that I know of. Second to last, this game I've talked about before. It is a very highly coveted and very highly regarded by critics and fans alike. And I'm glad to finally be able to have the chance and opportunity to actually play this game. This game is known for being able to really mess with people's heads with the way it'll try to screw and make you think there's something wrong with your actual game or console, and I love that, because it's all devised around the sanity meter. And you can tell also this game was heavily influenced by Lovecraft's work. But yeah, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem is quite interesting. And you do get a reward for playing the game multiple times. You can choose different abilities each time, and choose a different god to free until you face the ultimate god once you beat it 3 times. Once against each god creature. And there's definitely a lot of head nods to Cthulhu and other Lovecraft creatures and mythos. So if you are a fan of like Lovecraft's work and love really good psychological horror games, I do highly recommend Eternal Darkness. Last but not least, I want to save special Super Smash Bros. Melee, which of course is known by many people around the world. The reason why I want to save this for last is, one, because of how highly beloved this game is. 2, it's the first time I've had this game in, well, years. Like, I think the last time I actually had this game was like 2004. So yeah, it's been quite a few years, needless to say. But I'm just happy to have it so that I can replay Melee again. And remind myself once upon a time why this was, for a time, my favorite game in the series. Though currently, I would have to put Super Smash 4 as my favorite. But with that said, I'm curious, what's everyone's opinions? What is your personal favorite GameCube game? Or favorite genre? But with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Hopefully you enjoyed the music in the background, the retro wave. But I'll see you same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.